Scarab skeletons, flesh eaters. They can stay alive for years, feasting on a dead corpse. That's right, what up? Welcome back to Phantom of the India Review. On this episode, we are talking about something that, to me, has always been nostalgically horrifying, and that is those little fucking creepy tiny bugs from Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. These little buggers, although yes, harmless in real life, insects that have been around since ancient civilization, and they are actually worshipped by Egyptians as a sun deity. Let's just say that this movie, even though it gets a lot of flack, it's one of those films that you either hate it or love it, genuinely took insects, creepy crawlers, and terrified a generation. I can't be the only one. I feel like oftentimes on this channel we do deep dive into nostalgia and we talk about the things that scared us most as a child, and I'm always talking about fucking House of a Thousand Corpses, Jeepers Creepers, the same old shit. But I had a revelation the other day. One thing that has scared me and many people I know are those little fucking bugs. Small navy-shelled insects. They feed on human flesh. Living or dead, they swarm. And though you can shoot at them with a gun and stop them, I mean, it's like thousands of them running. Because yes, Imhotep is the main protagonistic villain of this entire movie, but then you have this like lurking, impending, horrific army of undead, zombified bugs chasing you throughout, and it adds like a sense of urgency and dread, because at any corner, even though like Imhotep might not be on the prowl or they're alone in a dark, deep of a pyramid, these bugs could come anywhere. And they do a great job instantly as they're telling the lore of Imhotep, when they have him wrapped up in that sheet and they're putting him in his coffin to cement him for eternity underneath a curse. They drop all these bugs on him and they slowly eat him alive. And I know what you're thinking, how did these bugs survive? Because when they are put in this coffin with Imhotep and that lid is sealed, they are now under the same curse that Imhotep is under. So for thousands of years, as they're picking away, eating at his flesh and his bones, being tormented and suffered by that. No wonder why he came back malicious. They are suffering the fate of the curse that Imhotep is too, so that's cool. So now in the modern day realm of this movie, when Imhotep is unearthed, they are too, and they're hungry because they've only been feeding on the one corpse forever. And that scene where they swarm him as he's being mummified and put into his coffin, it just leaves it up to the imagination how haunting and horrific that is. Imagine that, you're just put in a coffin with thousands of bugs eating away at you for eternity. Like, what the hell? And they gradually reveal the threat of these creatures throughout the movie. Like when the warden is going through that dark, decrepit underground area and he sees them encrusted on the wall with that like bluish diamond sheen over them, and he mistakes it for being valuable. He pops them off the wall, and one hits the ground, crawls out, goes through his boot, and starts to slowly dig into his skin. He's panicking, he's freaking out, and he unbuttons his shirt. And this, you know, for late 90s, early 2000s CGI of seeing that little bug crawl through him to this day sends shivers down my spine. And that when Brendan Fraser and company see him running through the hallways freaking out, being ripped apart about it, it slowly reveals it. And I think that's the biggest thing about these creatures, is that it slowly reveals their intensity from the one they see going through the warden, and when they're down there in the dark lit room and they just see them burst out of underground and chase after them, and there's thousands of them and they're shooting at them, and yeah, they're killing some, they're still impending. It's like around any corner during all this chaos, trying to solve this case, trying to defeat Imhotep, they have these bugs. And when they're running down that corridor and that one dude gets knocked over and just motorboated by them, dude, like lawnmowered by them, and you just see them run over him in a split second. He's nothing but bones, ripped apart. Like they ate through him that fast because they've been carnivorous and bloodthirsty for so long. I mean, even that scene with Jonathan when he gets the one in his shoulder, Brendan Fraser rips off his sleeve and cuts it out and pops it. He's like, oh god, like you have to realize, like if you get one of these in your skin, that's not easy. You can't just like stop it. Like you either gotta cut it and rip it out of your body, or it's gonna eat you alive. And luckily for Jonathan, he overcame that, but that just shows how haunting these things are. But that leads to the climax of the fucking horrific Benji's comeuppance when they're all fleeing the pyramid, and Benji, he's crawling, almost getting smushed by that rock, and as he gets out, he's looking around haunted in the dark, desolate tomb. And then you just see the one bug crawl up and stare at him, and he's like, no. And like when you see one, they're like stray cats. You feed one, dude, the rest are gonna come, and they all come barreling at him and slowly tear him apart. But yeah, from the introduction of them being buried alive with Imhotep to them slowly revealing themselves throughout the movie, I feel like that's what makes them the most fascinating and horrendous, is because they're not even the main antagonists of the movie. They're just like these side character bugs that were starved and locked up for so long that they just feed on the flesh of people. So as everyone's dealing with all the supernatural mummies, the giant windstorm, fucking undead villains, zombies, mummies, monsters. You got these little fucking hangry ass bugs tearing people apart, and that was so fascinating. I feel like they really captured that horror and like dread well, because every time you heard the little critters crawling or you saw one, you just knew it was gonna be a bloodbath. But alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Comment down below if these bugs scared you or if I'm just a pussy. Do y'all fuck with the Mummy? They're making a Mummy 4. That's what inspired me to make this movie, and it's generally one of the few scenes I don't talk about a lot but haunted me as a child. But thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Give me a thumb or hit that ding-ling button harassing you, telling you hates me. I'm here, and I'm gonna say it 1 time for the 1 time and 2 time for the O's. Give me a hell yeah for horror. This one had a lot of backstory focusing on Sergeant Leroy Hanlon. Where we saw last week, he got into a bit of a predicament with some dudes who broke in trying to get him to reveal some heavy government secrets, and it turns out